Hey, everybody. I wanted to welcome everybody to the team call tonight, Wednesday, July 8th, Team Next Generation. Thank you, everybody, for taking time out of your busy schedules to be with us. I'm really excited. Tonight, we have a special talker. It'll be her first time talking to everybody, so I think she's going to do a great job. Her name is Chantal, and I totally butchered her last name before, so I actually had to ask her how to pronounce it. It was sad. I was like, how do you pronounce your last name? Let me tell you a little bit about her so I can explain kind of why she's talking tonight. Chantal signed up as a coach on the 28th of May, so 2 days before the beginning of last month. She worked she kind of learned how to invite and do all that stuff. She didn't really actually start inviting for about 5 to 6 days after that. Within actually 15 days of her signing up, she was already a diamond rank. So she ranked up to diamond in 15 days of inviting, which is unheard of right now. She, by the end of last month, she ended the month with 26 success points in her account and 6 in her husband's account for a total of 32. She currently, as of today, has 10 Success Club points in her account and 2 in her husband's account. We're on the 8th of July. She's got a total of 19 coaches under her and 4 under her husband, right? With 3 of those coaches being Emerald status currently. So this is all in about 40 days. That's obscene. So I asked her if she would kind of speak to us just to get an idea of what are you doing to get people so excited about this opportunity. And so that's what she's going to talk a little bit about today, is just kind of how she deals with things, how she addresses, how she invites her daily activities. And I'm going to let her speak, and I'm going to shut up. And I would love to hear from you, Chantal. Please tell us what you are doing.
Okay, so do I click to talk?
Nope, you're good.
Okay, so hi guys. Just bear with me because I'm nervous. I've only seen 2 of these, and now I'm in one, so it's a little frightening. I wrote stuff down, so I'm going to read it, if that's okay. So basically, my daily routine. I make my coffee in the morning, I sit down, and I add 3 people on Facebook. So as Beachbody, you guys have your habits, which I do, but I kind of made my own, just because I want to stay true to myself. So again, first I add 3 people every day. Then I pick a time in the day when I can go back to Facebook. So today I knew I was working a 12-hour shift, so when I got home, make dinner, go back on Facebook. So the second thing I do is I go on Facebook, and if you look on the side of Facebook, you can actually see who's online, and I reach out to people that are online. So I try to go with 3. So I'll see 3 people that are online, and I just start a conversation. Very simple, just a quick sentence, and I go right into, do you guys know what I'm doing? And they're online, so they're communicating with me. They don't answer, it's okay, I just leave it. And the third thing I do is I actually send private messages during the week. So I do a couple depending on my week, but I just pick 3 that are maybe on my news feed. Again, just do a little sentence and then go right into my invite, which I'll read to you guys in just a second. And then the 4th thing is I share. So at work, in the lounge, when we're having lunch, I bring it up. If I go to the gym, I'm always talking. I don't just walk up to someone and say, hey, have you heard of Beachbody? Let's do this. I just say, oh my gosh, I've been working so hard, blah, blah, blah. And I just start talking. I ask some questions about themselves, and then I get right into it. For some people, that might be hard, but for me, I'm just very open, and I'm very strong personality, which people know. So that's why I changed a little bit for my personality. So if I would have messaged people a few days and just kind of worked around it, they know that's not me, because I would just be like, hey, this is what I'm doing. Let's do this. Are you on board? And that's what I've been doing, and it's been working. So my invites, I just do one little sentence, so I can actually read what I did today. I'm just going to read it right off my phone. So I have a lady that hasn't been at work because she's on maternity leave. So I just said, hey, Mama, been missing you at work. I just thought I'd let you know. And then copy and paste my same thing I say all the time. You may or may not know that I've been doing the 21-day fix. I've lost 10 pounds and 10 inches by doing 30-minute workouts, drinking Shakeology, eating clean, and being part of a challenge group. If it wasn't for my coach and being part of a challenge group, I would have probably given up on day 5 because 21-day fix is hard. Thanks to these people in the group, I've been inspired and I've changed. I want to pay it forward, so I've decided to become a coach. I want to help others change too. I'm looking for 3 people to be a part of my accountability group. It starts on, and I say, July 13th. Would you like to join me? And that's it. So I've been doing that for everyone. It hasn't changed, so I do a little blurb, and then I copy and paste that. The next thing is when I'm signing up someone, I sign everyone up as a coach. I don't even give them the option to be a customer. I send them the link to be a coach. And I explain to them why. I say, if you sign up as a coach, I'm able to give you 25% off. I'll be able to give you a discount. And then I even go into, you're one of my friends. If I knew about a discount, I would want to have a discount. Again, they all agree. I say this every time before I send them the link. If they have any questions about the program or more in depth about it, I send those videos that are on the back office. There's the Shakeology video and the 21-day fix. So I send those 2. And then I say, do you have any more questions? If they have some questions, I probably reach out to my coaches because I'm still really new to this. Sorry. But usually the videos are great. They're the selling feature. I even joke around with friends. I'm now a salesperson, so here's these videos. They can sell you the product. I'm here just to coach you. Every single person that I've signed up has said yes to coach. I've had only last month 1 customer, and it's because when they fill out the forms, they see the SIN number. So they're frightened when they see a SIN number. So I think about half of my coaches ask me, why do they need my SIN number? So I explain, Beachbody is a large company. They're not going to take your identity. They're not going to steal. But if you actually want to work as an active coach like myself, they need your SIN number. Oh, okay. I understand now. So I say, they're not even going to use it unless you actually want to be an active coach. 9 times out of 10, they're fine. I've had the 1 customer that said, no, I'm not interested, which is fine. Because this month she's still purchasing Shakeology, but she had to pay full price. But so this month I had a couple customers because, again, one lady is deathly allergic to flax, and it's in the Shakeology. So I didn't know what to do. So I said, okay, we're not getting you Shakeology. And the other 2 right now, same thing. They're scared. They don't like the SIN number. I explained to them. They're not okay with it. Maybe down the line I can get them to be a coach. But again, I don't really give them the option. I just send them the coach, explain, and then again I explain the fee. But in the long run, they're still getting the discount. They're still paying less than they would if they bought online. If you look online for here in Canada, it's $140 for Shakeology. So with their coach discount, they're still paying less, so the fee is gone. So that's what I've been doing. For my rejections, I've only had a few. I've been lucky. And if I do have a rejection, I kind of turn it around. So I have an example. I had a lady at work telling me, I hate shakes. Okay, that's great. I hated shakes too. She's like, no, I don't want to drink my food. I want to eat. This isn't going to work for me. I totally understand. I didn't like shakes either. If you did want a shake, what flavor would it be? Well, I chocolate, but I don't like shakes. So the next day I brought her a chocolate shake. She is now my coach. I proved her wrong. And then another lady, she said, I have really bad back pain. Do you think I can do these exercises? I said, there's a modifier. Oh, there's always a modifier. Well, how about this? I will lend you my DVD for tonight. You try the exercise, and if you can do it, then we'll get you on board. You can't, we'll try to do something else together. Next morning, she's a coach. So I'm lucky I don't have that many rejections, but when I do, I just try to work around it. And also when someone says, oh, I can't till July, I write their name down. Okay, I'm going to ask you in July. I already have 15 people that are saying August, so I move them all to August. I send them a private message, make sure they're okay. So basically what I'm doing is just being positive. I'm trying to reach out to as much people as I can see, talk to. I'm totally new to this. I don't know if I even know what I'm doing. So if it wasn't for my coaches, I've been bugging them every day. And I just say, okay, so what do I do today? And they're perfect. They said, okay, you need 8 people. Perfect. I'll get 8 people. My goal was to go to Oregon. And I said, I'm going to Oregon. How do I get to Oregon? Well, you need this many people. Okay, I'm going to get these many people. So I just write every single thing down. I write my goal down in the morning and I just keep writing it down. And by the end of the week, my goal gets smaller and smaller. Okay, I need 4 people today. I want 5 people tomorrow. I want 10 people by the middle of the month. And then I just keep checking it off, and that's what I've been doing. So
that's fantastic, Chantal. Thank you so much. So guys, I wanted to kind of hit on a couple of things that she had talked about. Chantal and I actually spoke a little bit last night about all this. And what really struck me, was interesting, is that she's telling me kind of how she's approaching people. I was thinking, it's funny because a lot of times, I'm not going to lie, she's approaching people in a way that I tell people don't approach people that way. You know what I mean? Like, don't be it was almost seemingly hard sales to me. But what I thought about was, I'm like, you know what? It works for her. And what I learned from her, which I tell people all the time as well, but it just, for whatever reason, it went over my head on this one. What I learned from her was that when she said, when I tried to approach people the way I was told to approach people and kind of form them, form my friends that know me and, re-talk to them and and send them a few messages, it's not me and they know it. So they pick up on it and it just seemed unauthentic. They know me as a very direct person. So for me to be direct to them and just tell them, look, this is what I'm doing. I don't know if you know, and if you want to join, great. That was authentic to them and it made sense. That's why it works. What I love about that is it's stuff we tell you guys all the time. And I need to remind myself over and over is just be authentic to you. If it's uncomfortable what you're doing, they know it's uncomfortable. Everybody knows it's uncomfortable. It doesn't come off as being comfortable. People read into it. So you just need to be comfortable in what you're doing. And if that means kind of being creative and stepping outside the box and maybe trying to approach people in a little bit of a different manner, that's fantastic. Do that. You know what I mean? Don't just do what we say to do because, we've done it or whatever. It might not work for you. And that's absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with that as long as it feels authentic to you. One of the other things that I loved is when she gets objections, we all know how objections go. And if you've been doing it for a little while, you're even far more aware of how objections go. And they can be very daunting and kind of like they can really kind of put people in a corner, and a lot of people don't know how to respond to them. And one of the things that she said last night and she said today was, if somebody comes back with something that's an objection, I just try to prove them wrong. I just stop and I think in my head, how can I prove them wrong? And I love that because it's true. A lot of us will have a tendency just to go, okay, you're already going into the conversation. They're going to say that this is too expensive because Shakeology is just expensive. And so then when they come back with, you know what, it's just too expensive. Then you're like, yep, I knew they're going to say it's expensive. Yeah, they're right. And it's just like, you just and it just kind of falls flat. And in her mind, if you notice, that doesn't even step into her mind at all. It just doesn't even come in. It's not a matter of they're going to say this. It's a matter of they're going to sign up. It's not a matter of, well, okay, they're right. It's too expensive. Nope. Oh, okay. It's too expensive. Well, let's see. Maybe it's not too expensive. Well, tell me this. How much do you spend on coffee a day? You know what I mean? Oh, it's only, well, yeah, it is expensive. $4 a shake. I totally understand. I mean, $4 a meal. So tell me a little bit, it's just like, she just kind of diverts the situation and heads right back to the focus. Right. And it's interesting because it works, but I think it's important for us to kind of refocus on that sometime and just be like, sometimes, and I think that can come off like, well, I don't want to be salesy. I don't think that's salesy. I think it's asking questions and just sharing your story. You can empathize with it. Hey, I thought the exact same thing. I did. Myself, this is real talk. When I first looked at Shakeology, I thought it was absurdly expensive. That was the first thing I thought. Same objection everybody has. right? So I can look at somebody when they say that and say, you know what? I agreed 100%. I thought the same thing. And this is what I figured out. Well, tell me this, and I don't stop the conversation at, well, it's just too expensive for me. We move forward and just figure something out. And at the end of the day, if it's still uncomfortable for them and it's just too much, fine, not a problem. I just want to I don't want to just fall flat right at the very beginning. Another thing is she's writing down all of and this is something that, I myself need to work on, and I'm sure a lot of us do, but writing down the names, I don't have time right now. This isn't a good time. We all know that, now is never no. It's just not right now. And no is never no. No is usually, I'm not ready right this second. But we really need to focus, if we're not already, on taking note of that and really paying attention to it. And then reminding yourself to follow up, right? That's one of the things that she's already writing those names down. She's like, okay, I've got my, August list ready to rock because they told me that it was going to be in August. So guess what? Her rolling in, that's why right now she's already at SC10. Right? Because it wasn't like she's just starting over and forgetting about those people. She talked to people. She reached out to them. She got out of her comfort zone and she went for it. And she just everybody that would stand and listen to her, she talked to. And she got a lot of people probably saying maybe this month or whatever, And now those have become that beginning of July, those challengers for the beginning of July. And those challengers right now that she's speaking with that are not going to be challengers right now will be the August challengers. And that's kind of how we work. So writing those down and remembering to actually go back to those, I think is substantially important to us. And I think if we're not doing that, we really need to focus on it. The other thing that I liked that, I'll be straight up and say, I never do it. And I know I need to, and I'm terrible about it. So I love hearing it because it's absolutely true. Goals. I can tell myself 1,000 times what my goals are. I know what my goals are. They're in here. That's not a question. But if you notice, she writes them down every single day. Right? Not writes them down and just puts them on the wall even. Okay, I needed 10 people. Now I've got 8. So today I'm going to write down 8. Let's check that off. Or this is my goal for tomorrow. Or this, it's constantly writing those things down. So it never leaves here because you're ingraining it, writing it down all the time. I think surprisingly, just penciling that in every single day is probably one of the more important things, Chantal, that you do. You know what I mean? Like, I think that is probably one of the reasons that you're driven to go and speak with people about it and share the opportunity.
My 10th book.
Sorry?
I said it's my 10th book of goals.
See? That's fantastic. And, the other thing that I was picking up on is your consistency. How often do you add 3 people? How often are you doing all this stuff?
Every day.
Do you ever miss a day?
I've only been a coach for a month and a half, so no.
Well, okay, but you know what? A lot of people miss them in the first week. You know what I mean? And that's the point, is consistency is key. Mm-hmm. And basically what's going on here is Chantal is taking what we all know as being the vital actions to create a business, and she's molding them around what works for her, to her own personality. So she's making them authentic. But at the end of the day, really what she's doing is what we know we need to do, as long as we'll just do it. And it's being successful for her. You know what I mean? Like, as long as we can just be consistent with those things, we know we have to. And if we do, this is how it works out. But a lot of times I think it's difficult it's easy to get sidetracked. I do it. I think everybody does, but I think this just reiterates, kind of why it's so important. So instead of me talking all night, because that's the last thing you want to hear, I would love if anybody has any questions at all regarding kind of like how she's dealing with it. Does anybody have any questions? I'm going to go ahead and if you guys want to ask a question, there's a little icon, the little speaker icon in the lower left-hand side of your screen. Just go ahead and click on that and chime in and shoot. Any questions, Deanna?
Hi.
I was wondering if you would be so kind to maybe posting the script, the stuff that you copy and paste on our team page. So
Sure.
that way we can kind of tweak it to make it our own and kind of, I think it can really help us kind of get new ideas. I think that'd be awesome.
Okay.
Thank you.
That would be fantastic, Chantal. If you'd be willing to do that, just kind of throw it out there. And then guys, just change that, modify it to make it sound more like you, and utilize those tools, definitely utilize them. How about anybody else have any questions, anything that they're struggling with that we might all be able to shed some light on? I know, Courtney, this is probably a little kind of like, you're kind of like, what's going on right now? Being new, Gene or Kendra or Evan or anybody else, and you guys have anything that you're struggling with? you both speak to? Everything good?
Just for me personally, my struggle I noticed is just, the consistency with trying to navigate around everything else. But that's just something that'll come with me in my own time. I'm a little slower moving than everyone else. So, but hearing all this, it does help, because my problem is, like I said before, like even just approaching people, and talking about it. Because like I said on Facebook before in previous conversations, I have friends, pretty much all of my Oregon friends, they all do Beachbody. So my news feed, literally every other post is something about Beachbody or someone offering it. And of course, being that Oregon, the area that I'm in is fairly small, everybody's already been approached by somebody or talked to by somebody or knows somebody or has tried it or is on it or is a coach themselves. So I think for me, it's definitely stepping back in and kind of coming up with new ways other than just saying, hey, every week I have a new challenge group, and seeing the same things that other people are putting out as well. But I do have 2 friends right now that I'm personally just texting or messaging every single day, because they purchased 21-day fix. They kind of fell in like a time when nobody was really doing a challenge. So I'm kind of just talking to them each day, sending them, just a little motivational like picture, or asking them how they're doing, if they have any, challenges for the day or whatnot. And, that's currently what I'm doing with 2 of my friends right now that purchased it actually last month.
That's fantastic. Yeah, that's awesome. So that's actually something that I think is kind of interesting. It's something that we're all going to, I think, struggle with at some point too, is you do get markets get saturated, right? Like friends groups get saturated quickly. So it is imperative that we actually step outside of those specific boundaries, if you will, and kind of reach out to people at a farther distance. Yeah, Chantal?
Actually, most of from everyone last month, I only think I have 1 friend, because I find it's actually harder for the friends. So adding those 3 people that you most likely might know, or friends of a friend, are the ones that are actually easier to talk to. I don't really have any friends on my list yet. I've been reaching out to people that aren't, and I find that actually easier, because if they do, say no, I don't take it to heart really. But that's why I think it's really important to add those people every day, because the last people I ever thought that would be a coach are my coaches. So I just think adding and kind of going outside that box is really important.
Absolutely.
Now, where do people feel, or how do they feel when it comes to that line where you're inviting someone on your own personal page versus maybe having like a different page where you can invite everybody, and maybe it kind of appears as a personal page but can act more as a, I guess in a sense, a business page as well? Because I mean, for me personally, the people on my page, my Facebook page, are my friends. They know me. You can have like a conversation where you're like, oh, how's your they can ask me how my daughter is or how my husband is, or you can have personal conversations. Whereas, yes, at one point when you're inviting people to be your coach, you do build those friendships, but I don't necessarily need everybody to know what's going on in my life to a certain extent when it's strangers that you're just inviting. You know what I mean? Like a friend of a friend of a friend. Does that make sense?
So for me, I was very private. My Facebook was only friends. I would never add anyone. I actually deleted people I didn't talk to. And in the last month, I just kind of turned my Facebook, that is my business page. So no more bad posts, no more crazy drunken pictures. Add everyone I can, because this is who I am now. I am a Beachbody coach, and I want to help everyone. So my Facebook now is everybody. So that was scary for me, because it went from private to not private. But I think that's why this is working for me, because this is my tool. My tool is Facebook. If I want to have private messages, I'll private message them. But I'm kind of using my Facebook now as my business. That's the way I look at it. I just keep adding and writing and posting, and that's been working for me. So
Chantal, I think you're actually spot on. It's funny that you say that, because what I was going to add to that, if I could, which you basically hit it all, to be honest. was it really gets down to what you want out of the business. And we got to realize that there's nothing wrong, right, with whatever level you're at. Like whatever you kind of want the business to be is completely fine. If you're looking at it from the perspective of, I just want to, help a couple people and, I really don't want to take this, very big or whatever, that's great. That's fine. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. At the same time, if you're like, look, this is my end game and I want to completely retire ASAP with this and I want to grow big, that's fine too. It really is a matter of what you're trying to achieve. But if what you're trying to achieve is something kind of bigger, then I think there is a time where you kind of do step back and go, realistically, what are my tools? Where Facebook is a tool. And while it is a social networking site, and for a lot of us, it is kind of like our friend connection, right? It also becomes kind of what Chantal said. And for me, it's in the same thing. I didn't really have any friends other than like just my close knit friends on Facebook. I didn't have like a bunch of friends on there, but now like I just add them. And it really, I rarely actually look at Facebook in terms of, I'll feed through it for a little bit, but I rarely like spend a lot of time on it. My actual time spent on Facebook is really working the business, adding friends, talking to people, building relationships, etc. And for me, I've kind of resigned for that. I'm like, okay, I'm all right with that. And I actually kind of like it because I don't see a bunch of, like the negative stuff I was seeing from a bunch of random people that, or even my friends that are kind of like, eh. So I kind of enjoy that. And I don't, for me, that works. And it sounds like for Chantal, that works. And that's great. But wherever you're at is totally fine. I just think that a lot of times we need to step back and kind of look at our goals and then make it sense, like it's really hard for, I think, people to get over the idea of losing Facebook as your Facebook, you know what I mean? Like as your like friend network. But at the same time, I think that you do kind of have to reposition yourself and realize like, if you want to be if you want to be a big business, then just like Chantal said, you got to eventually come to the point where you're like, that's what I am. Like I'm a coach and I'm going to be sharing about what I do because this is what I am. And people on my Facebook feed are going to see it because this is who I am. The same way that you would post about like anything that you're passionate about, that you're interested in, right? This is the same thing. It just so happens that this is about fitness and it happens to be a business. But, regardless of that, part of the great thing of Beachbody is that you're not selling stuff really, you're sharing what you're passionate about. And if you're not passionate about it, people that aren't passionate about Beachbody and about the products and about the system, they're not coaches. So they're not here. You know what I mean? Like the people that are here because they love the product and they're excited to help people. So it's very much a part of your life, So I think that's hugely beneficial to kind of just go, you know what, I'm going to make that call and just let people know I'm a Beachbody coach. And that's part of who I am, not just what I do. You know what I mean? Jenna, were you going to say something? It looked like you're about to.
I was just going to say, I think that that's amazing, Chantal, what you're saying, because I agree 100%. I was the same exact way. Like I had, 100 friends or something like that. And I used to delete people off if I didn't, have a ongoing relationship with them. And now I treat it like a business. And there's still days that some things I post are a little bit uncomfortable because I work full time. I think, oh, my coworkers are seeing this. Oh my gosh, are they going to judge me? Are they going to see me and look at me funny? But I know that my end goal is I want to retire early. I want to be able to enjoy my family. So my end goal is sometimes having to step outside my comfort zone. And usually when you step outside your comfort zone is when you notice the most engagement in those posts, because it's so uncomfortable that it makes you think are usually the ones that people can resonate with the most. Mm-hmm. And so, I think that you're spot on, Chantal, on that. And it is uncomfortable. And I totally understand what you're talking about too, Kendra, because it is kind of like, it's my group, so it's kind of, but it's kind of stepping outside that comfort zone sometimes and just kind of really focusing on what your end game is, what you want to get out of the business, and anything's fine.
Yeah, Kendra, definitely don't get me wrong. I am not in any way trying to say like, hey, you just need to get over it and da-da-da-da-da. That's not where I'm coming from. Basically, just to agree with what Deanna and Chantal are saying, it's just kind of like, if the goal is something really big, and it may not be, and that is totally fine too. If it's not, then, maybe you just, don't share as much on your personal page for this, for that or whatever. And you do kind of try to separate those two. And that is absolutely great, whatever works for you. But if it is, if you do have a larger goal, it's something that maybe just, like a shift in the way you think about how you see yourself, right? Like for me, for a long time, it was really hard for me to think of myself as, this really was something I did on the side, not who I am, right? Like I definitely was a coach. I'm a stylist. I own a salon and I do a little coaching on the side versus like, yeah, I'm a beachbody coach. I cut hair too, but I'm a coach, you know? And so now I'm like, now there's that shift where I can see the potential and how, you know, like how quickly and how massive this can be. And I've changed. Now it's just like what you said, Chantal. It's, no, I'm a coach. This is who I am. Like I've made that decision. I've made that commitment. So now when I think of what I'm doing, I'm like, why would I not? You know, when I first started cutting hair, you think I wouldn't have blown up my Facebook page about me cutting hair? Like I would have had a bunch of posts on there like that. Now I just do it, you know, when I do post, it's something fitness related or, you know, speaks to who I am. And I think that's where that shift will happen, and it'll be more comfortable for you to kind of share those kinds of things if you get to the point where you feel like that's the right decision for you, you know, to be like, no, this is who I am, and this is what I want to be. And if not, then, you know, that's either way, you know, whatever works for, whatever makes people comfortable is the most important, I think. What about anybody else have anything going on? No, nobody. Okay, I will not leave it in silence for too much longer. It's totally nuts. So everybody, I really, 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 once again, I appreciate you guys jumping on the call. I know you're taking time out of your busy schedules. So I want to thank everybody, and I will again be recording this. So, you know, check it out if you want to re-listen to it, if you didn't take notes or anything, or if there's anything you missed, go ahead and check out on the Next Generation team page, and we'll have it there. Alrighty, everybody. You guys all have a fantastic evening and enjoy it. Get ready for the weekend, and we will see you guys next week. All right, everybody. Bye-bye now.
Bye.
Bye.